Hello YouTube, and just a quick video. I wasn't really going to do a video on this because, well, these bar end mirrors, you'd have thought they'd be quite an easy job to do. Take the old bar ends out, put the bar end mirrors on, job done. Not as simple as that, unfortunately, on this. So the story is, I got these bar end mirrors for Christmas. These are a £10 set off Amazon, and actually for £10, they're pretty decent quality. They do seem to be well finished, and they're pretty sturdy as well. The vision from them is actually pretty good, and they have got this sort of, I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but there is like a bluish tint to the mirrors, so it actually fits quite well with the blue colour scheme. But anyway, yes, they're on now, and that's all good, but the problem is, the old bar ends had a tiny, I think it was a 3mm or a 3.5mm Allen bolt in it, so being so small, you can't really put much pressure on to undo them. And for some reason, Triumph thought it was a good idea to put these Allen bolts in with red Loctite. That's the permanent stuff, as far as I'm aware. So they wouldn't budge. And of course, with it being such a small Allen head, you couldn't really put much pressure on because it was just stripping the head. So what I had to do in the end was get a soldering iron, put the tip of the soldering iron into the bolt to heat it up to try and break that Loctite seal. Then using the Allen key, in fact I ended up using an Allen socket in the end with a wrench, which actually works out a little bit easier. So just by easing it slightly tight and slightly loose, heating it up, eventually they started to come loose and I got them out. But yeah, it was a nightmare. And then once I got them out, with these Triumph bars, inside the bar you only get about that much of a void, and then in there is the threaded part which the bar ends screw into. Now these mirrors are fairly standard. They're to fit 7/8 inch handlebars, which I believe is what these are. But for some reason, the nut and bolt that come with this, well, the nut was too big to fit into the end of the bars, so I couldn't use the nut that came with it. And with that, you get the expanding rubber thing. So when you tighten it up, the rubber expands, and that's what's meant to hold them in on sort of conventional bars. But obviously, these being different, you only get a small amount of space inside the end of the bar. It was a bit tricky. So what I've had to do in the end is get a pair of these not so nice looking normal hex bolts to go in there at the right thread, and a washer in the end to hold it into place, because the hole here, again, too big for this nut. So yeah, options were limited, so that's what I've had to settle for. But they're on and they seem good. The vision from, like I say, they're obviously a lot smaller than the stock mirrors, so I was thinking maybe they're not going to be good enough, there's not enough vision from them. But having ridden with them for a little bit, getting used to them, they're actually not too bad. They do sort of give a pretty decent enough view behind you. Obviously not as good as the stock mirrors, of course they wouldn't be being so small, but on the bike they do look pretty good, I would say, because them stock mirrors were quite tall, and it made the bike stick up quite a lot, but these have kind of flattened out the lines a bit. So yeah, I'm quite happy with them. Not bad for a tenner. After fitting them, my next issue was blanking off where the old mirrors go. I didn't want to leave them open because I didn't want the weather to get into them. So I had a look around in the garage and I found these, which are old banjo bolts from my GPZ 500 brake calipers. So yeah, I've put those in there to hold them in. Because with this one, the brake fluid reservoir is on this bracket, which is held in by that. So I had to do something about that, otherwise that would have just been flopping about all over the place, which obviously isn't safe. So yeah, I dug out these banjo bolts. I had to cut them down quite a bit so they'd fit in the hole, but yeah, they're on there, and that's doing its job nicely. Even if it's just a temporary thing, I'll probably get some nicer looking bolts, because well, that one's not too bad, but this one's quite rusty. So yeah, I'll get something better to plug them holes off. So there we go. That is the bar end mirrors on the Triumph. Bit of a fiasco getting them on, but they're on, and yeah, we'll see how I get on with them. So there we go. Thank you all for watching. Ride safe, and I'll see you next time.